like what we all do in IT services, product development, or digitization, or engineering, and so on and so forth, you constantly have this challenge of increased number of people. If you suddenly start increasing people, unless you have your processes right, you can never get quality right. If you want to get your quality right, you need to have robust processes built into the organization. So people call it as the ISO 9000, CMMI, level 5, level 4, whatever they are. We actually went to the level of developing our own internal systems. And it was called ACE, Accelerating Competitive Excellence. And the processes that we have in the company just don't measure the quality of the work that's being done, but equally importantly, we measure the associate satisfaction and the customer satisfaction over and over again. We are paranoid about it. Paranoid to the level that if we don't lose a customer, we might, given maybe other reasons, we might like to exit from the business of a customer, but we don't let customers exit from us. So therefore, the second one that you have to learn is processes become very important. And the third one is the day and times that we live at this point of time. Technology is playing an extremely important role. So, technology in terms of domain expertise you have in your company. Technology in terms of making sure that you have the right tools with you. And finally, what happens is that you have to make sure training becomes extremely important. Deshmukh said he was going to ask me a question about higher education, etc. We'll talk about education as we move forward. But the important thing I'd like to tell you is that, today skills are something which are questionable. So the result is you have to emphasize in making sure you train your people so that they become productive from day one. So the framework that we have in terms of scaling is have the right people, put the processes in place, make sure you deploy the right technology, tools, and train your people. The other thing is that I wanted to share with you is one thing that bothers everybody is that how do you keep your solution unique? You got to innovate constantly. Innovation has to become DNA for an organization. Again, you live in a time, at this point of time, you blink an eyelid, technology is moving at such a rapid pace that you will find that you're obsoleted, you're outdated, you're no good any longer, somebody is overtaking you. The only way you can keep pace with this technology is constant innovation. I'll tell you a very mundane idea that we tried out, worked out wonders for us. It is called the idea stream. That's how the whole idea of innovation started in the company. What the idea stream is, if you look at around these walls, there's some nice pictures, workspace, and so on and so forth. So we took one of these walls, which are blank walls for us in every COE we have. So COE is the Center of Excellence, which typically houses about 200 people in each one of them. And we painted it as a tree. And we had stick-on paper in the entrance door in the shape of leaves. And to get KRA for every engineer in the company, that they would come out with 2 new ideas every year. So they would write their idea on the leaf-like stick-on paper, put it on the tree. Every Friday evening, we would pluck all the leaves, and Saturday and Sunday they would go through a process. And Monday morning, they would change the color and come back to the tree if they passed the gate. If they didn't pass the gate, then I would get an email saying that his idea was a bad idea. That's no good for the company. And so and then the colors changed. Then we started giving them 2 hours of time for pursuing their ideas. So they extend their projects, which now have $billions of funding for people to pursue their ideas. One question that will come back is who does the IP belong to? Still, since the funding is done by us, the IP belongs to the company. So, but the momentum has become so large, it became unmanageable. Now we have a software which runs in the company where everybody can use their own desk and make sure that the ideas are being logged in and making sure that their KRAs are being fulfilled. So the world we live right now, innovation becomes important. I'll finally leave with one thought, and that is, personally, I feel one of the key reasons how companies succeed is having a foundation of values. And what we keep calling in our company is values first. FIRST is an acronym for fairness, integrity, respect, trust, and sincerity. Or sincerity and trust. And to me, these are uncompromisable. To me, I keep saying that value of the company is sum total values of people. And then you also see that there are 4 distinctively different stakeholders who make companies successful. Who are the stakeholders who make companies successful? Employees, very good. Customers, very good. Very good. Investors, number 3. Who is number 4? Ecosystem. Good. Thank you. So it's ecosystem, or we call it as a society, the environment. And that environment makes, so therefore, we're all now accepting, I'm so glad all of you called out all the 4 names. And these 4 are like pillars of strength for you. I keep saying you have a foundation which is values. Then you have pillars, which are these 4 stakeholders. You build your superstructure, you be smaller. But then these 4 pillars, 4 stakeholders we talked about, are also at cross purposes with each other. Customer wants the best quality at the lowest price. Employee wants the highest salary. Investor wants best returns for their money. Whether in terms of the stock appreciation or the different returns they get, they want that. So therefore, can you meet all of them? They're cross purposes, right? You can't have the best pricing and still have the highest salary. So you have to make a compromise between them or a good balance between them. That's when companies become successful. But here is something important, is that the last pillar we talked about, the society or the ecosystem, as my young friend said from here, is that it's a very silent spectator. But the onus is rests on you to make sure that you keep the society also in balance. Several of our investors in the early days have come and asked us this question: why are you responsible for the society? Your responsibility in the Western world, if you look at it, that people say the company's CEO is responsible for creating shareholders' value. You create market cap year after year, that's your responsibility. But the environment that we are in this part of the world, that's more good. You still have an environment where we, as a corporate social responsibility, we have about 26 schools in this neighborhood. You get to schools and find that the girl child population in these schools is between 10% to 15%. Then you can't have a ecosystem which is balanced enough for you to have sane living. Or you can find that people don't get jobs because they're not properly skilled. So interventions of this nature become extremely important. So the final remark I wanted to make was about the ability to build a company on values, supported by 4 pillars of strength, and be equitable to every one of these stakeholders. I'll stop here. Yeah. And then allow you to
So I think the ecosystem part is where I have my first question. You said the ecosystem of the society produces employees and produces resources and other human power, human capital that you take into your company. One of the most important things that train these people are institutes of higher education and several other education institutions. While innovation happens to be the bedrock of how science became science of today, starting from GIS and the way you use very smart technologies to get here, do you see a radical change happening in higher education very soon, in innovating the whole way students come out of colleges? And as the governor of board of the chairman of board of governors of IIT Hyderabad, your perspective is what we are very eagerly waiting to hear.
Thank you, Yashwant, for that. I think you touched upon a number of things. The first one is our responsibility towards the society. You said the type of higher education people that come to society, and we actually go further down to primary education. Our support on CSR at this point in time is at school level. That's where the intervention is. And it's extremely gratifying to see that intervention really be successful. As I said, one of the things that we do as a part of our social responsibility is primary education. And like in the corporate world, every rupee that we spend, we also look for what is that impact it's making. So we went ahead and started measuring what's the outcome of the type of money that we spend. The first one is that we said we want to see the girl child population increasing in our schools. Trust me, from a number which is less than 15% in our schools, today the 26 schools that we have under our management, these are all government schools, they're all below the poverty line schools. There's 54% of children in our schools today are girl children. We started measuring what's the pass percentage. It used to be low 40s. We're now at about 86%. We started, the other thing that was most important is that in these government schools, because they're migrant labor and so on and so forth, the least important thing for these laborers is children's education. That's not important at all. Making his livelihood is most important. Don't think about the future is what they think about. But we made sure that we made them comfortable to ensure that they don't move out, because they think children's education is more important. They'll somehow manage to get some job somewhere, but the child has to go to the same school and complete the education. So the end result is this school dropout ratio, as it's called, was reduced to 20+%. Now it's down to about 4 to 5%. That's what we contain it. And so that gives you enormous amount of confidence, enormous amount of satisfaction. But moving then on to the next level that we do is that these children who pass out, and how many of you are aware of this statistic, only 23% of children who pass class 10 in this country go to college thereafter. Junior college or degree college. So you're all blessed people in this room. 77% of them just drop off. And so what do they do thereafter? They get subsumed by the society, they don't die. But without any skill. So we decided in the recent past, we now have something called the Urban Micro Skilling Center. Especially again, my favorite is my girl child. And so we now have 6 skills for the girl children, which we're training them. The first batch is just out. So interventions of this nature are important at very preliminary stages. But coming back to Yashwant's question on higher education, that's another story by itself. A very, very concerning story for people like me. I do extensive amount of work in higher education for Government of India itself. We're trying to do a number of interventions. And I can't take my eyes off numbers, so pardon me, I keep throwing numbers all the time. Today, in India, can you imagine how many students do undergraduation or post-graduation engineering every year? How many people get a graduate degree or a postgraduate degree every year in engineering in India? Yes?
15 lakhs.
Sorry?
15 lakhs.
15 lakhs, okay. Well, thank you. 15 lakhs is the capacity that we created. There are 15 lakh seats that are available in India right now for undergraduate, postgraduate education. Actually, 19 lakhs 5 years back. It's down to 15 lakhs now. But then in this 15 lakhs, when admissions come in, we are not in a position to attract more than 9 lakhs. 9.5, 9.6 is what I've seen in the last 3 years now. And so therefore we created overcapacity. Here is something more interesting happened thereafter. And what is that? Is out of this 9.5, 9.6 who graduate, what percentage of people get jobs? Somebody wants to talk to me? 10%? No. That's, there are 10%, yes and no, we'll come to that. But at least on paper, they get about, we've seen number which is 4.5 lakhs, 4.75 lakhs. Historically, India could not absorb more than 5 lakhs of engineering graduates on any single year. I don't have historic data, authentic historic data with me. So, therefore, the first point to raise we create capacity is what I said. The 19 lakhs or 14 lakhs, but 9.5 lakhs being absorbed. The second is that out of this 9.5 lakhs who graduate, not more than half of them only get jobs, which does throw in the specific question mark in terms of quality of education. So then comes the next step is that we did some more research into it using the third party ORI, is how many people are, how many of these engineering graduates who actually graduate in software development are ready to do software product development, not providing IT services. They're very good in doing sales jobs. Because I was a salesman myself, so if there are salespeople around, don't think that I'm belittling them. That's an easier job to do. But not the systems that we have in place now, where quota systems run, quota is not hit. He doesn't even need to come to his boss. He knows exactly what the pink slip was ready for him. But the fact of life is that when you have product development percentages are just less than 2% of people. Computer science graduates in this country, 2% of them do product development. So, Yashwant asked me this question about innovation, but I'm still on technical competence. I'm talking about competence at this point of time. Innovation to me is a higher order level of requirement that I have. So there is a lot of correction that's required to be done, but we can't stop the clock. We can't bring everything to a standstill and say till quality improves, I won't move on the world. So there are a number of initiatives that happen in innovation at this point of time. A standing example not too far away from here is T-Hub. I'm the founder director of T-Hub. We started this idea 5 years back. For all practical purposes, it reports into me. I'm sure K.T. Ramarao was very supportive. Actually, all the CapEx funding is done by them. The OpEx funding comes from the T-Hub itself. But we created an ecosystem. I was explaining this a little while earlier. Yashwant was part of that conversation. That it's just not co-working space. The ability that we are in a position to support startup companies in terms of mentors, in terms of support services, in terms of actually an environment which is very conducive to a startup company. A good example is you might not even know your neighbor can solve your problems. So most of the time I keep saying the buzz that goes on in the coffee shop downstairs is a barometer of how people are getting benefited from each other. Because you come to a level where you don't while away your time talking about movies or novels or politics in the coffee room anymore. You talk about technology. You talk about how to solve problems using technology. So, if we talk about innovation at this point in time in the ecosystem, what we're trying to tell people are mandating people. I wrote a report for Government of India on a perspective plan for technical education in India in last October, November, December, which is being rolled out at this juncture. One of the interventions we have suggested and rolled out is every engineering college would have an incubation center. They will have an entrepreneur in residence. They will fund at least one technology center of excellence. So some of these interventions I'm sure will take us to the next level of competence in years to come. There is a lot of intervention that's required. And so therefore, coming to the group of people, what does benefit you then? So what is all about this innovation? That's okay. So a number of people think innovation is creativity. Innovation, therefore, is all the job of the right brain. So people are blessed to be born as creative individuals. There's enough of research that's done, and I'm a strong believer in it. That's not true at all. You don't need to have only the right brain which works to make you very creative in life. If you have some of the traits in life, which are about 4 or 5 of them, I'll try to put them together. I'm sure you could be as innovative as anybody else. What are these traits that I believe, and there's enough of evidence to say that these are strong traits, people have to nurture them. One is that you have to have this curious mind. Constantly keep saying, why does it work this way? Steve Jobs did not think, why does this huge box called TV is there? I can condense it to some other format. So therefore, the curiosity is saying that, why does it work this way? Can I make it work differently? So the first and the foremost is, if you want to be truly innovative, you have to have that curious mind, which says, I challenge the status quo. Why does it happen this way? It can't happen differently. The second one is your ability to experiment with things. Once you start curiosity and saying, I know something different, can I experiment? And more often than not, we are all very, very shy to experiment. Because if you fail, people think we are all people who are losers. I believe varies from society to society. In our society, especially, 90% of the time we talk about success. We never talk about failures, but there is a lot of learning that come out of failures. And the third one is that once you start experimenting, you have to have the ability to analyze. And the fourth one is that you have to then socialize, talk to people. Only then you know whether the solution you found is worthwhile or not. So, my belief, therefore, and this is Christian Peterson's theory, is that you don't need to be right-brained. You can also be left-brained to become innovative. So don't think, somebody is very bright, that guy has very high IQ level, so therefore, God was not kind to me, so he made me he made me like what I am today. That's very, very defensive story to me. Everybody is the same. God created all of us equal. You can also be as innovative as whom you think is your role model. So long you start practicing this. You start challenging the status quo, you experiment with things, you start analyzing the results and socialize. That's how I think you become, as this statement goes, you can nurture against nature. Nature gives some advantage to some people, very minor. But you can, by nurturing certain qualities in you can beat nature. That's all. We'll try this one. Okay. Maybe another one.
So you said the output itself, the engineering student output in terms of competency levels itself is the concerns right now. In terms of the imparting of education, right from Bill Gates to many several educationists across the world, keep talking about the education system to be a very archaic one that started with the Industrial Revolution. Do you think something of a transformation is about to happen in education that will move the country ahead? Or we should do something else which is more fundamental than changing the system in the classroom?
I think, it will change at this point in time. And
I'm sure everybody heard about Industry 4.0. Yes, right. But I'll talk about what I call as the Education 4.0. So have people heard about Education 4.0? No. Okay. So, to me, what is Education 1.0 was a typical Gurukul that was there. There was a teacher, there was a class, there were students. This doesn't work, but it's similar all right. Okay, good. So, the Education 1.0 was the Gurukul. Teacher, classroom, and students. So, where was the knowledge residing with? The teacher. So, what's the source of knowledge? The teacher. So, the student has to go there, listen to the teacher carefully to impart that knowledge. That was the Gurukul 1.0 or Education 1.0. Then the printing revolution came in. Books started getting printed. Knowledge started getting dissemination. Some people started getting into libraries. Books got into libraries. But even now, the generation that I belong to, I keep telling the story. I was at IIT Kanpur and alumni by Kanpur. I used to have an urge to read. I went to the library. I searched for the book that I wanted. I didn't find it. I went to the librarian. So the librarian would say, "Oh, you know, this book has just gone." So the question was, so when do I get it? She used to say, 3 people are ahead of you. Everyone has the right to keep for 2 weeks. So 6 weeks from now, you get the book. But still, book was the knowledge. That was 2.0. That was the destination that happened with the knowledge. Now look at the education 3.0. 3.0 is when we started saying learning can be digital. That is when we started saying that we deliver content electronically. Long-distance learning. There could be a guest teacher who would record all their classes and people heard them, whether the live audio, video, and so on and so forth. That is 3.0. What we believe is 4.0 is that if you look at the current situation, I don't need to be in the class because I can get the best of lectures anytime, anywhere, on demand. So long as I have a good connectivity, I can speak, I can listen to my teacher. So the requirement of teacher has come down dramatically. And look at the student too, he has got lots of other applications. Attention span has become very short. I don't know how many of you have just graduated in the recent past, but I also teach. So I've seen how much effort has to go in to make sure the student listens to you. So therefore, what has to happen in the new education system that we are saying is that it can't be the old archaic system that we talked about. The content is available online. Content can be interactive. There could be some amount of mixed learning that has to come by. So what will happen as we move forward is classroom will become homework. Homework will become classroom. What would happen is whatever I need to teach, I have to pre-record it and ship it out to people. And that's called a flipped class. So the result is that the students at their leisure, one could do it at 12 in the midnight, the other could probably have the habit of getting at 5:30 in the morning. They listen to this material, read the material that gets sent out. So what happens is the classroom becomes more a discussion room. A classroom becomes a place where you start sharing knowledge. It's not one-way monologue that goes on. But as opposed to that, what happens is, it's a place where you start learning just not from the teacher, but from each other. So this is what I think we have suggested to the government, the classroom and teacher. That's what we think will transform as we move forward. The dependence on the teacher is still there. I'm not saying it's completely taken off. I can listen to the best of lecture. And there's so much amount of research that's happening on, say, even platforms like MOOCs, massive online open courseware, where people think, oh no, MOOCs is nothing but the teacher speaks in the speaker, gets recorded and thrown out. No. There's so much of research and technology that's involved right now that if I teach a class in MOOCs to a group of students, And then, they ask me questions at the end of the class. The next time I teach, the same question should not come back to me. So obviously, I have to rephrase my content to make sure that I've covered even the questions that come in. So therefore, there is enormous amount of translation that will happen. But I think the basic to it is also the intent of the student. The intent of the student also has to change. That is something that we are also working towards.
I think the last part is where I was really excited about the intent of the student. I think today, if somebody wants to learn, there are ample number of opportunities, and I think that's where you hit the right thing. Switching gears from you were an entrepreneur before you became an entrepreneur, right? Did you see that there's a huge opportunity and you jumped over to the other side, or were there other factors in terms of we are contributing so much to the current company, why can't I build something on my own? Was the motivation having a huge team or leaving a legacy? What was it that was in your mind when you were taking that, the leap of faith, as people call it?
There's a very interesting poem called The Dawn. I knew of the poem much later than after I started recognizing what I was doing. So I don't really read this. Ellis Hayward, I guess. It's called The Dawn. So what came to my life much earlier than I read this poem was that when you are born in this world, it's not in your hands. You come to the world, I don't know who makes the decision, but somebody makes the decision, I don't know. And when you disappear from this world too, somebody makes the decision, it's not under your control. So what is under your control then? You say, you're born, 1950s when I was born. I'll disappear at some point in time. What is in my control is the space in between. Sorry, the poet's name is the dash. Not the dot, it's called the dash. So what's there in between is the dash, right? And so, what can you do in your life is the dash part of it. If you want to be unique, you want to be standing different from others, you have to contribute. That is the awakening which made me an entrepreneur. I could have been a professional. I could probably, I don't know, but I would have probably done fairly well. I'd have been the CEO of a company too. I became one before I started my own. But that is not the ambition in life. The ambition in life is you have to be unique. You have to contribute something which is different from others. That's what drives people. Rephrasing it is you need to understand what your purpose of life is. Why am I here? What am I doing? How will I achieve it? Why, what, how? And that's what will make the difference. So to me, the dash made the difference to me. I wanted the dash to be different from others. My tombstone has to have a history which is different from others.
That's fantastic. One last question, and then we'll open it up to the floor. At any point in time during your entrepreneurial journey, did you feel like going back to what you were doing? Because the dash is a really difficult road to travel.
Yashwant, I would lie to you if I didn't think about it. Because life is not a bed full of roses. You always have ups and downs in life. There are extremely low periods of life. Think, why am I doing this? What makes you motivated? But then, I used to ask the same question. What's the choice I have? I go back, I become a loser. So every morning that I wake up, I say, is that, look, I need to be better than what I was yesterday. That is the key motivator to say that, look, I won't give up. So therefore, that's the message I have for you, all of you here, as a budding entrepreneur. Don't think life is all the time high for an entrepreneur. You go through the highs and lows. At times, it really makes life miserable. Because, you don't even anticipate. You think, look, I got everything right. I covered myself in every possible direction. Latest episode 2 weeks back, Wall Street Journal article, which says the problem solved with Boeing aircraft is because of outsourcing. And outsourcing is done by 2 companies in India, one is HCL and another is Cyient. And these 2 guys don't pay well to their employees, substandard employees, all code with bugs. And what Boeing did was loaded this buggy software onto their aircraft and people got killed. And then the phone starts blazing all around. So do you anticipate this as an or you say, my God. And the good news in this particular instance is the customer at least said that, look, it doesn't belong to them. This code was written by us. In spite of that, then, I'm not a great fan of Trump, don't mistake me. Trump uses this word for fake news. And I understand now how fake news could be. You pick up this Wall Street Journal article, and Indian news media now makes up new headlines out of it. No relationship to what the original article was, because I know the truth where it is. So therefore, you start questioning yourself and then, I do understand you all this help. So it could be many of them. You tell your guys, there's components. We work with competitors. So therefore, please don't have any IP violation at any point of time. Teams have to be different. Chinese ones have to be used in between. In spite of that, the manager decides to mix up people, and this is one story, all right, at least 15, 18 year old story. And we also, even then, 15, 18 years back, we had a rule which says no file will be transferred as an email attachment. It had to be all to be placed on file servers. They have to be there, downloaded by the customer. File attachment. Wrong customer goes and lands in a competitor hands, suspecting that we did an IP violation. Hell gets let loose. We sued in the American court for breach of intellectual property. So he keeps saying, why the hell do I need to go all through this? So there are a number of instances that you keep low. But then the only question you need to ask is, if I give up now, what's the brand I get in my life? I'm a loser, right? So I go back with vengeance next morning. I'll fight it out tooth and nail to make sure I am a winner. That's the way in which you transform yourself.
That's probably what I want to do. Two questions you can shout out from the
there might be some sort of instances where, is there an instance where your family said that no, this is not a good goal? And what is the best support where your partner has given to you?
Sure. I'll be very honest about it. 28 years back when I started the company, I had a very nice job. I was the CEO of a company called OMC Computer, a system integration company. 300 people strong. Tatas were funding it. Dr. Raj Reddy gave technologies. So one of them who had a little bit of doubt, not on my capabilities, not on my skills, but life is like that. My wife said, why do you require to do this? Why do you require to throw away the job and then start all afresh? You're telling me that you start a business in our dining room. We had 300 people. We had 2 shoppers for others. So she said, you drive cars from tomorrow. Is that what you're planning to do? I said, yes. So she said, why do you require to do this? I told her the story of the dash. And then I told her that, look, I guarantee you one thing, that our lifestyle will not change. So I said, I'll take a part of the money. I won't take all the money that we have today and go and invest in this company. I will only take part of it, and part of it I went and bought property, which gave her income. make sure that the family runs. So this is not anything unnatural. Tremendous amount of support she is to me thereafter. But therefore, in no way I'm trying to say that my wife was a showstopper for me. She was not. Very rational person she is. Because thereafter, if you look at it, for me, there were years. I spent 100 room nights out of my room, which means I was traveling for at least 150 days out of 365 days in a year. So who looks after your home? Who looks after the children? I have 2 children. For the young man is now the CEO of the company today. And people used to ask me this question, saying that, who do you like the most? And the answer used to be, I like the child who's the weakest. And to me, my company was my 3rd child. And that was the weakest. So therefore, you take this as a passion of your life. You want to achieve, all of it will fall in place. They all make those sacrifices. And therefore, the family support is extremely important. Without the family, you will not make it as an entrepreneur. I'm assured. If that becomes a roadblock, please don't become an entrepreneur. But make sure that you make them comfortable. What was the concern that my wife had? Concern was, if something goes wrong, given that, we came from a different background and we had status in society by that time, as I said, 2 cars and 2 shoppers. From that, if you start getting the buses and auto rickshaws, what would happen to our life? So all that, so long as there are issues, try to solve it. Did I answer your question? Thank you.
We have time for just one question, so we'll take it from here.
Sir, running a deep tech company, you will always come across the choice of how many patents you have to register, how many IPs you will keep. What is the right balance, or do we always do the patents now? Is there a way to think about it?
So you talked about patents and IP. Sorry, I missed the part. So what do you differentiate between an IP and a patent?
IP, anything where IP that is something that is very patentable, right? But maybe the company's directions or the resources are not available for it. And how do you proceed that how patents are actually there? And there is a sizable value for the patents, but again,
so primarily what we're saying is that there's cost of patenting. Otherwise, I wish I patented everything that I had to. That's what it is. So my problem in life is more than the patenting part is how do I commercialize the whole venture. Monetization becomes very important. As Yashwant was introducing, I also run IIT Hyderabad as the chairman of the board. My 3rd term right now, so which means that the 7th year that I've been running the institution. And I keep telling even professors, don't do research for research's sake. So therefore, if you have patents, it's very good. I would allow you to, I don't think there is a rule that I can tell you saying that this number or this percentage, you are the best judge. How much money you have with you, how important is the patent. If you think that patent is going to be worth millions of dollars, I'm sure you'll be beg, borrow, steal to make sure that the patenting is done. But I think therefore, before the patenting happens, somewhere down the line, you have to make sure that it is a monetizable patent that is available to you. So the decision is yours. Yes, there are some more hands going up, so I'll still take a few more questions. Sure, 5:30. I'll let you know.
I have some questions.
Please.
How to get investors? What do investors do to invest in startups? What they actually need? What are the points they're looking for?
I think I also where we have half of well invested. Now about 16 companies now with me. And I would be lying to you lately if I say I have 16 good companies or great companies with me. I started off with all of them. I think we had one stage 18 and now down to 16. We added a few and released a few. But 6 of them for sure will write off very soon. So therefore you have different types of companies that come in. But more importantly, why did we go and invest there? First and foremost, we look for is it a real good idea this young man has? Not necessarily young, but this individual has. Because unless there is a problem that they're trying to solve, it is something that they think about it as a problem, and the problem does not exist. It's not a company which will certainly survive for too long. And do they have a solution to it? A good example is people tell us that, look, I'm going to create another Swiggy. Speaking of Swiggy. And I can say, why are you different from Swiggy? No, sir, my bikes will be faster, so I deliver faster to people. Rubbish. So, where do you get people from? So, no, sir, the other guy is closing down. So, I get all the people from here. So, I keep saying, you will also close down very soon if you think this is the business model that you run. So, therefore, what are we looking for at this point in time? The first is that there is a problem. The second one is there is a solution, a unique solution that is there. The third thing that we also look at is having a team. Team also becomes very important because if you look at the current scenario, that it's not any longer that people start companies with a lot of experience. I told you about my story where I already worked for about 16, 18 years before I started the company. So by which time I equipped myself fairly well with lots of skills, whether it was operations, sales, systems, CEO of the company and so on and so forth. Whereas when you start companies at 22, 23 or 25 for that matter, or 30 even for that, you don't have all the skills. So how do you make sure that all the skills are there with within the company is making sure that you form a team which you can complement each other. So it can't be techies only will start the company, big technology. It need not be a solution that we find. But you can find teams. So therefore we lay a lot of emphasis on teams. Teams become very important. And somewhere down the line, this is not an easy thing to judge and also to make a judgment thereafter is the value systems. And I think that some of them don't understand this too well, and at times they lost out as a result of it. A good company in EduTech, we nurtured them for a while, and suddenly we never looked at the financials. Suddenly they would come back and tell us one day, we're all ready to say, okay, we'll do the investment. So he was already in the revenue mode, so he said he had 1 crore rupees or 2 crores rupees of revenue, 18 lakhs of profit. But the books come back to us and shows only 8 lakhs of profit. So we tell him that, look, what is this like? No, sir, don't worry about it. The 18 lakhs actually there. Just because I don't want to pay tax, I'm showing that 8 lakhs here. Concave, the values are not there as a result of it. So I keep saying, unless you get your values right in the initial stages, the investor will not be keen about it. So therefore, the last one is the idea has to be scalable. I sell it to people in my street. My town doesn't work. It has to be a solution which can be globally competitive, which can scale into the global marketplace. So these are about 4 or 5 of them that we look around before we invest. Yes, sir.
So instead of corporates with the responsibility that they're doing like family schools, so they business models and all. Like I have studied the concept called corporate responsibility, where the family responsibility of the company is not for the shareholders, and the stakeholders including the society. So you can align, so is it possible for companies to align their goals with the society's goals? Like for example, there's decent work and economic growth as one of the sustainable development goals of United Nations, right? So can companies work with governments and the civil society and education institutions to promote such broader goals and at the same time make better progress?
Certainly, yes, as you want to say this true. But at the same time, if you look at what we are doing today too, are aligned with the SDGs. So they're not in isolation, they're not doing something which is different. One of the SDG goals out of the 18 or whatever the number is one is about memory education. Okay. Education for all. So therefore, we are trying to get there to making sure that it's a girl child population also which comes into education per se. I think in a Western world, the corporates don't think that their responsibility is towards the society.
Their responsibility is only towards the shareholder, creating the shareholders value. In the developing world at this point of time, I think the first time the CSR has come into play. It has now become mandatory. I'm sure you've heard about it. And in the recent past, it's become a little more draconian, as usual after people are trying to take stronger rules. Rules does not make it. It is there, then will be probably make people work around it. So therefore, not necessarily we should take the social responsibility, but so long as we know few of the social challenges, we address them with what we have. But again, you look at the budgets that we have, there's not a whole lot of them. We could probably think about companies like the public sector oil companies and so on and so forth. They may have budgets of, or probably for that matter, TCS has 400 crores on it. That's the budget on CSR. But people like us have just about 8 crores of budget. So you can't be doing hell of a lot of things and transforming the whole society in a year to take 8 crores of rupees. So we have to take smaller objectives and make sure you make them absolutely realizable. So that's what I think we focus on. That's one way of doing it. Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, sir, for being here. So I have a question which is, like as you have said, every day you make a decision, which is whether I should go back or should I push further. But we all work on startups where sometimes the idea might not be right and we're still working on it. And every day we say ourselves like, maybe I should push further or maybe I should give up because the venture I have built so far might not be valid to the customer. So, like, how to make that decision whether to push further on an idea which is reasonably okay and try harder, or just give up at this point and try new venture overall, because that's an area which I have for you. And I'm sure like there'll be more startups which try an idea and at one point of time in their maturity, they come across a phase where should they pivot or should they pick a new industry overall or should they push a little bit harder?
Good question that you had, but the answer lies within you itself. You start investing money, and you must have heard about this word called I cut my losses, which means that I don't throw good money after bad money, which is money which you invested till now becomes bad money because it's not giving you any return. All the